Hello, students of Spanish 3. I hope this video finds you well. This week we have kind of an interesting cross-section of vocabulary. We have some things that talk a little bit about different types of food, a little bit about taste, and then there's a small section about talking about events that are sort of unintentional, like things that happened that you didn't count on, like a car breaking down or something not working out or something like that. And there's a system for that. There's a formula for it, but we're going to have some of it presented just as vocabulary as well, like some of the phrases that we'll fill in for a little bit later. So a lot of what I do with you right now is really just going to be reading things out loud, making you aware so you can see what things look like, and so that you understand how it's pronounced as well. So this will be a lot of just me doing some pronunciations for you, and a lot of the practice that's going to help you learn it best we're going to be doing in class already. Sometime in the middle or end of this, I will offer a short extra credit opportunity as well. So those of you who watch the video specifically to do that, you're in luck this time around. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it real quick. So talking about how food tastes, talking about unintentional events as well. So first of all, absolute superlatives. A superlative is whenever you're saying that something is really or a lot of something, if it's the most or the least. In this case, in Spanish, when you add the word ísimo to the ending of some sort of an adjective, it makes it stronger. It further underscores, it augments whatever adjective it is you're using. So like bueno is good, but buenísimo is really good or extremely good. Difícil is hard or difficult. So dificilísimo is really hard or really difficult. Anyways, reading through, the ísimo ending intensifies the meaning of an adjective or adverb. With adjectives, the ending must agree. So that ísimo, ísima ending can also be ísimos or ísimas. We're still taking into account gender and number, even if the original word, the original adjective, didn't naturally end in an O. If it was already gender neutral, we'll still make its ísimo or ísima ending function like it ended in an O. So that's something that takes a little bit of getting used to, a small detail. Example, las papitas son riquísimas y las puedes preparar rapidísimo. Okay, so the papitas, the chips, the fries, are extremely delicious, or really delicious, and you can prepare them really fast or extremely fast. So those are just some examples of absolute superlatives. Moving on. When you are trying to talk about any sort of an unintentional event or something that happened and it was sort of beyond your control, there's a small formula for that. You'll use the word say every single time. You'll start with say, then an IOP. Remember, IOPs are indirect object pronouns. And then whatever the verb is in, usually 9 times out of 10, it's going to be in the preterite form, because these are events that we're talking about that occurred in the past, and past tense events are the preterite tense. So anyways, the indirect object pronoun that you use is going to depend on to whom the event actually happened. In this case, se les quedó el pan en casa. They left the bread at home. In this case, the people who accidentally left the bread at home were a they situation. So les is the IOP that it refers to, because les is to them. All right, so this is a weird translation. I'm not going to ask that you understand it instantaneously, but sort of half literal, half generally translated, it comes out to the bread left itself at home to them. I know that sounds weird, but that is the literal way that it's looked at. So sometimes the thought paradigm, the way that you think about verbs and how things act, is different from language to language. It's almost as different as me gusta, meaning it's pleasing to me, as opposed to I like it. So it's a little bit like that. Anyways, remember that indirect object pronouns are me, te, le, nos, os, and les. We'll practice those more. Now that's just one rule. The IOP depends on to whom the event happened. Rule 2. You'll use the plural of the verb if the item involved is plural. So if I lost the pictures, or I'm sorry, the photos, all right, then since photos is plural, it's going to be perdieron instead of perdió. All right. So anyways, se me perdieron las fotos. I lost the photos. Sometimes if the person to whom it occurred or the person to whom the unintentional event occurred is a third person singular that requires a lay, you might want to, if we didn't already talk about the person or name that person, we can use a clarifier like a él, a ella, a plus a person's name or something like that. So a clarifying phrase with a may be added to further identify an indirect object pronoun. For example, if we just said se le rompió el vaso, it'll be like saying either he or she or you formal broke the glass. But in this case, we're naming the person. Teresa. A Teresa se le rompió el vaso. Okay, so there we have it. That's it for our grammar component for this week. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our vocabulary real quick. Here. Okay, vocab. So as you can see, there's a lot of it, but look at this last section. We're going to go over this one last. This is everything we were just talking about. Okay, all of the whoops. Here we go. All of these different unintentional event style things. Okay, we're not going to go over their translations today. That's just in the textbook on page 123. As a matter of fact, I'm only going to go over pronunciation. This part of the video is going to be more like a pronunciation guide than anything else. Which actually, before I get to the pronunciation, let's talk about your extra credit for this week. Let's go ahead, and if we have a note card, that's preferred. But if it's just a half sheet of paper, that's fine too. I'd like you to write 10 sentences using all of our new and recent vocab. If you want to use some of the vocab phrases from in here, or it's some of them in here, or down here, that's all perfectly fine. I will ask this. I will ask that you vary your style of sentences. What I mean by that is, don't say, for example, 10 sentences that's saying I like me gusta el chorizo, me gustan los mariscos, me gusta el melocotón, etc. Okay? I want you to vary your phrase type. So maybe a few of them questions, maybe one or two of them can be an I like style structure, like a typical Spanish one thing. Maybe a couple of them in the past tense and a couple of them in the future tense. All right, so just throwing those out. That's a very general guideline, I know, but what I'm looking for is that you have it. Let's just say at least 4 different sentence structure types. Okay, let's make at least 2 of them be a question, and I'll give you the freedom to decide whether or not you want to do some in the preterite tense versus the imperfect tense versus the future tense, present progressive tense, present perfect tense. So we got a lot of tenses this year. Anyways, let's get after it. Anyways, your extra credit assignment is to write me 10 sentences of varying style that utilize new vocabulary or vocab phrases in each one of them. Thanks. Pronunciation time. Talking about how food tastes. Está echado a perder. Está en su punto. Guácala, qué asco. Le falta sal. Sabor. No sé qué. Lleva mucha grasa. Me cae gordo. Qué bueno. Or qué sabroso. Sabe riquísimo. Tiene sabor de ajo. Tiene sabor a ajo. I just need to make sure this is correct because I noticed here, yeah, a ajo. I would have said de ajo, but sometimes regionally things change. I know that the big focus for this chapter is going to be on Venezuelan cuisine and Venezuelan style vocabulary. So obviously in Madrid you might say something different. Continuing. Food, here we go. Las almejas, el bacalao, el bistec a la parrilla, las caraotas, el chorizo, las chuletas de cerdo, la ensalada mixta, el aguacate, los mariscos, el melocotón, las ostras, la patilla, la piña, el pollo frito, el puerco asado, el quesillo, la sal, la ternera, la torta, and la trucha. We're going to go ahead and pause here for just a moment because I'm having a small technical difficulty. Screen recorder is all set. Just making sure things are working correctly. I just realized that I don't see myself in this video. I hope that you're hearing me okay. I guess we'll check that in a moment. Let's continue. Talking about unintentional events. El descomponer, se le rompió, se les quedó, se me acabó, se me perdició, I'm sorry, se me perdió, or se me perdieron, nos cayó, or nos cayeron, se nos compuso, or se nos compusieron, and the last one, se te olvidó, se te olvidaron. I hope this came through. I'm going to test it before I send it out to you all. I just realized that I don't see myself in this screencast. If you only have this as a verbal and you only hear things that are happening, but you can still see everything else on the screen, then great. I'm happy about that, and we'll leave it as is. Anyways, I hope this video finds you and finds you well. Have a great evening and enjoy. Bye-bye.